Yep. Good evening, everyone. So last session we learned about some mouse events examples, how to handle them. Okay. So so we learned about some events and what are the events. So we have all the mouse events and we discussed about one more is element state events. Element state events, we discussed about how to handle on change and all. And we learnt about two-way binding also. So two-way binding, so it allows you to handle accessing data from the source, updating back to UI, identifying changes in the UI and updating back to the source. And the two-way binding can be achieved only through one event. What is that? On change. On change is the event. And one example we learned how to use the on change and how do we work with the on change event. So we designed one example. So this is our project. I already updated the notes of last session. Once check that, okay. So previously I uploaded a wrong notes. I updated it. Just few minutes back I updated. You go through that. Okay, next. Yeah. So now once we understand how we can use the basic element state events, now one more category. Today we will see keyboard events. How to use the keyboard events. How do we work with the keyboard events? So keyboard events, actually keyboard events, we have on key up, we have on key down, and we have on key press. These are the keyboard events. And generally in JavaScript, when to use these events, that means when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. So keyboard events intention is while typing, we want to handle some actions, some interactions. Last session we saw element state events. What are element state events? Once you finish or you are changing the values, then automatically it will define the functionalities. What is key up, key down, key press, and when to use them? Actually, generally, suppose I am typing some text like some John. How many keys pressed? Three. Three keys pressed because key press means in events key press means you have to finish the key and key in another key. You must finish the key and use another key. Then it is considered as what? Key press. key press. So currently cursor is still at N. If cursor is still at N, that means it is 3 keys only. Once you finish N, then it is 4. Finish N means I have to press space or I have to type some other character, then it is considered as 4 keys. So key press is an event that fires up when you finish a key and use another key. If you don't know this and you use it wrong places, it will have different behavior than what we expect. That means we are expecting some behavior, it will do something else. That is the problem with key up, key down and key press. So what is key press? Key press indicates you finish the key and use another key. What is key up, key down? Immediately when you release the key. That means suppose you are typing some John. How many keys pressed? How many keys up? 3 keys pressed and 4 keys up. 4 keys down, 4 keys up. That means key up, key down means immediately when you finish the key. Immediately when you finish the key, then we call it as key up, key down. So after you finish the key, type something else, then that is called as key press. I will show you example. Means to understand this correctly, let me show you the difference first to you. Suppose we are having some name. Suppose this is some username or password or something. So this is username and I am writing on key press. I am writing event on key press verify name. First I am explaining you what is the concept. Function verify name. We are collecting the name document dot get element by id txt name dot value. We are verifying if name is equal to John. It should be equal to John. Then document dot write. We will put as some paragraph document dot query selector some paragraph inner HTML. We say suppose name taken. We have to display the message name taken. And otherwise document dot query selector paragraph inner HTML. So name available. That means if it is matching with John, it should say name is already taken. Okay. Let's run this and see. Currently which event I am using? On key press. That is the event we are using. And observe here. I am typing the name. So I am typing the name available. J is available, right? O is available. JO is available. H is available. John, it is taken. Then why it is not showing? John is already taken. Then why it is not showing? Because N is not finished. When N is finished, when you press space, when I press space, N is finished. Now it will say taken. That's not good. That means verifying name after you press the key and use some another key is not a good idea. So key press is not good for this situation. Then what is good for this situation? Instead of key press, you better use, what is that? You use what? Key up. Key up, key down you can use. Now see what happens. Name available, OHN. Immediately it will verify. It will not wait until you press some another key. So what is difference between key press and key up, key down? Key up, key down will immediately fire up when you press a key. Key press will fire up when you finish a key. How you know that it is finished? Once you type a key and go to another key, then it is considered as what? Key press. Key press. So now the question is when to use them actually, when to use them correctly. So here key up and key down are events that fire up actions immediately when user key in any character. When key in any character, key press is executed when user finish a key and key in another key. Finish a key and key in another key. Key press is executed when user finish a key and key in another key. User finish a key and key in another key. So that is the point about key up, key down and key press. Now, what is the meaning of the word key in? Because here remember, generally what you do is when you are using your computer keyboards. So typewriter and keyboards are different. Generally in computer technologies, we will not say we are typing. That's the wrong term actually, because we don't type, we key in. That is not typing. In any computer programming or anywhere in computer technologies, we don't type. It is not typewriter to type. What is the difference between typewriter, typing and keying in actually? Typewriter is nothing but you hold down a key. Then what will happen? In typewriter, it will type once and it will stop. But in keyboard, when you hold down a key, it will repeat. So you are not typing, you are keying in. You are not typing, you are keying in. Typing means what? You hold down, only once it will type. For example, you see in your mobile's keypad, that is type, that is not key in. You hold down a key, then what will happen? It will not repeat in your mobile. It will have only once. It will not repeat when you hold down. But in a computer keyboard, when you hold down, then what it will do? It will repeat. That mechanism is not typing. That mechanism is called keying in. We call it as keying in. So the concept of keying in is nothing but once you press the key and release the key. That is key up. Key up, key down. Key press means you finish. Now the doubt is when to use them. When to use key up, key down, and when to use key press then. In the current situation, which I showed you, the situation is this one. Here I showed you a situation. In this situation, what is the best one? The best one is key up, not key press. Right? Key up is best. That means when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. Key up, key down have one problem. What is problem with key up, key down? I typed suppose A. That means now key up, key down will recognize the character you typed, but they cannot recognize the code of character. They can recognize the character, but they cannot recognize the code of character. Code of character means every character have a code. What is the character code? If I type A, what is its code? 65. ASCII code. ASCII code. Every character have a ASCII code. And what is that ASCII code? Uppercase A to Z. It is 65 to 90. 97 to 122. These are lowercase. And remember, key up, key down, they cannot recognize the key code. Key code is recognized only by key press. So when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. Key up, key down, key up, key down cannot recognize the key codes. Only key press can recognize the key code, because once you finish a key, then key code can be recognized. Then when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. If you are dealing with the characters, then use key up, key down. If you are dealing with the code of characters, then you use key press. Why we need to deal with the code of characters? We need to deal with the code of characters because sometimes we don't want to know which key is pressed. That means which character is pressed. Not only that, sometimes some keys don't have characters. For example, caps lock. When you press caps lock, how we know caps lock is pressed? Because caps lock will not print anything. But how do you know caps lock is pressed? When you press shift, it will not print anything. Then how do you know shift is pressed? And why should we know? Because suppose when you are typing password, they will say that caps is on. They give a warning. How they know without typing anything, how they know that caps is on? That means they can recognize the code of character, the code of key. Caps lock have a code, shift key have a code. When user press, they will not type any character, but how do we know whether they pressed or not? For that we need a code. That means if you can get the code of character, you can know which character they have used. Whether you used shift key or control key or alt key or caps lock, because many keys have characters. But some keys don't have characters. Then how do we recognize the keys? By using code. So if you are dealing with codes, use key up, key press. When you are dealing with characters, use key up and key down. That is the basic point. So when to use the options. So key up and key down are the events used while working with the characters. While working with the characters. Key press. Key press is used while working with the ASCII code of characters. ASCII code of characters. A is 65 and Z is 90, like that. (122). So we have key up, key down, key press. And you can identify the keys by using the following event properties. So like key code, char code, shift key, which alt key, CTRL key, like this. These are all different important key related properties. The key properties are defined by using this. So the key code, char code, shift key, which actually generally we can use them actually. For example, suppose you see in the console, suppose we are using event argument. Whenever any key is pressed, I am using console.log. We are printing key code. How to get the key code? We can get by using event. Here we can collect E and E dot what? Key code. In the next we have char code is equal to E dot char code. We have slash and which, and we can get E dot which. So control key, alt key already I showed you last. So control key used or not, shift key used or not. Actually you see now I click here and I type something and you will see the char code is 0. And 65 wrong code is coming because 65 is related to uppercase. That means key up, key down are unable to recognize the keys correctly. You see currently which event I am using? Key up. Okay, let's use on key press. On key press. When I am using on key press, let's type the key. Then it is good. Understood? That means key press is able to recognize the key codes correctly. Key up, key down are not recognizing the keys correctly. We have a problem. And remember, key code, char code, which all are similar, but in React, we prefer using which. Not only in React, in majority of advanced programming, we prefer using which because key code, char code are good. They return the same. All will return the same. But key code, char code are good for Windows keyboards. But you know, people may use an Apple keyboard. Mac keyboard have different keys. In that case, what is the problem now? If it is having different keyboards, then in every keyboard, it should be able to recognize the key. So the best one is which is able to recognize the keys in any type of keyboard. Generally, do you know, keyboard is a big concept to understand actually. Do you know keyboards are actually categorized into two types? We have standard keyboard, enhanced keyboard. Enhanced keyboard. Standard keyboard, enhanced keyboard. Do you know Alt, Control, Shift? These keys are what type of keys? Control, Alt, Shift. These are what type of keys? Suppose 1, 2, 3, these are numeric keys. Numeric keys. Keyboard contains alphanumeric keys, symbol, special character keys. Keyboard contains function keys, na? F1 to F12. Control, Alt, Shift, these are called as and your software engineers, huh? Java developer, .NET developer. Huh? You don't know keyboard? These are called modifier keys. They are called modifier keys. Why they are called modifier keys? Because they modify the function of a key. That means, for example, do you know I am typing A. If I use shift and A, it will modify to uppercase. That is a modifier key. That is a modifier key. Do you know control alt like these things actually? Control alt is nothing but suppose cursor is here. I am using right arrow. It will move one character right, left arrow, one character left. Control right arrow, one word right. Control left arrow, one word left. That means they modify the keys. Already keys are doing some work and they can modify the functionality of a key. That is the reason Control Alt Shift, these are called modifier keys. On a keyboard we have modifier keys, function keys, numeric keys, alphabet keys, special characters. The various categories are present. Now the point is you need to correctly understand how to handle this. That means now when to use key up, key down. When you are dealing with characters. When to use key press. When you are dealing with the code of characters. Code of characters. Let's try one example with this. Let's see. How to handle the keys, we will see one example. So I will add a new component here. Okay, in the components, I'm adding a new folder, key demo. Right, so key demo.jsx. So we have export function key demo and return we have a div class container fluid. Okay, now we will create a simple option, user ID. Just we say register user. Okay, data list, data term, user ID, and data definition, input type is text. Okay. Now here I will go to this index and we will keep key demo in the startup. Okay. Now we have the key demo in the startup which is asking for user ID. It is asking for user ID. Okay. Now we will maintain some data in our public folder. In the public folder, users.json. We are creating a JSON file by name users. In that, we will put an array and every user will have a user ID. Some user ID is John. That is one. Like this, we have some user IDs. So this is John 1, 2. And it is like John. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have like John. Yeah, this is like John underscore NIT. And this is some another name, some David. Like this, we have some user IDs. Now what I want here is we have some data. What I want here is when user is typing user ID, I need to show a message user ID available or it is taken. That means what is the logic behind this? I want user ID to verify from the data we are having. In the data, if already that user ID is taken, we should alert him that this is already taken, try something else. We have to get it from the JSON file and we have to verify from the JSON file. So let's see how we can do that. And we have to do that while typing the user ID. While typing, that means here we have to define the event. What is it? onKeyUp. onKeyUp. Okay, handle key up. Okay, or simply verify user ID. So we will write a function, and what is the function? Verify user ID. That is the function. Now this verify user ID should collect the value event argument we are using. Event argument will collect the value that user is typing. What he is typing, we can collect that and display that. Right? Can you turn on that fan? Thank you. So now here we have this user ID, verify user ID, right? Now what we need to do is we need to collect the data from the user's JSON file and we have to check. So you know how to get the data. What is it? Axios dot get. Get from where? Users dot JSON. Okay. Dot then we will get response, and that response must be stored. This response must be stored in some location. So we are using a constant users, set users is equal to use state. It is an array of object, and that object contains a key called user ID, which is a string type. That means what we will do, set users. Set users, and what is it? Response dot data. That will get the users and store them. But actually our intention is to verify this user's data contains an array. We have to verify whether that user is matching or not. So here a lot of work is there. That means directly can we verify that user is there or not? Here we will put a data definition. Okay. How do we verify that user is present or not? This is getting the users. Up to this it is fine. All the users information it is getting, and it is storing in which place? Users. Actually this response dot data contains all the users. It will contain all the users. In that, whether that user is matching or not, we have to verify. In an array, how you will find whether the matching data is available or not? In an array, how you will find whether the matching data available or not? You have two array methods, find and filter. You learned array methods now. What is find? Find will search for your required data and it will give the first occurrence that is matching. It will return only one. What is filter? Filter is going to return all the data which is matching with your condition. So I will temporarily remove this, and here I will not setting. Actually response dot data gets all the users. So what I will do, we will create a var user. How to collect the user whose ID is matching with the ID I entered, right? What we will do, response dot data. Response dot data is an array. In that we will use a command called find. And find is going to get, it is going to read every item. And what it is going to return? It is going to return item dot what? User ID matching with e dot target dot value. That means whatever the value you are typing, it will get that and it will store. That means it is going to collect that. I will temporarily use console.log user. I will temporarily use console.user. Observe carefully now. Let's open the log. In the console log, okay, I am typing here. I am typing here J. Then it says undefined. J O undefined. H undefined. N, it is there. it is going to get that. That means undefined means those are not present. Once it is present, then it is going to get that and display. Then what we have to do here, that means we need to write a condition. What is the condition? Condition is nothing but if user. What does it means? If user means if it is defined. You know in JavaScript, how do we write whether value defined or not? We can use like this. If user is equal to what? Undefined. But I told you that is not the good way. We learned now primitive types. What is the correct way? If user, what does it means? If it is defined. If it is defined, then what we have to do? If it is defined, we have to verify that user ID is matching or not. If it is defined, we have to verify user ID is matching or not. If it is defined, then we will write a condition. If user dot user ID is matching, because user is a object, that user ID is matching with e dot what? Target dot value. So if it is matching with e dot target dot value, we will put one message. We will put a constant. So error and a set error is equal to use state. Error is empty string and we will set error. What is that set error? Set error should display a message user ID taken and try another. This is the message it should give. If it is not matching, then set error. What is the error? It should display user ID what? Available. It should display user ID available. That means now what we need to do here, and where to display that error? Error must be displayed here inside the data definition. Here we want to display the error. Now see what we are doing. So we click here. I will remove this now. Yeah. We click here and we are typing some name and it says it should display that and show user ID is taken. If it is not taken, it should show available, na? Right? It is not showing. What is the problem? If user ID taken, right? If it is defined, na? Only one defined we are using, right? If it is defined. Because the next condition is what? The next condition is undefined. Undefined means we have to use what? User ID available. User ID available. This is only for user ID taken. This is only the logic for user ID taken. So we are typing here. So it is not showing once it is said user ID taken. And after that, once it is displayed, we have to hide it also. When to hide? When to hide? If it is not defined, we want to display the message. That means this is for defined. If it is defined, verify that. If it is not defined, else. What is the message to display? What is the message to display? We have to set error. What is the message? User ID available. Available. This is the message we need to show. That means now what will happen here is when you are typing, then it says user ID is available. And once you entered, that says taken. John 1, it is available. John 1, 2, it is taken. 1, 2, 3, it is available. 1, 2, 3, 4, it is taken. It is going to display that. If it is defined, then verify. If it is not defined, means it is not there. Now I want to change the colors. What is the color? If it is taken, red color. If it is not taken available, then green color. That means the color of this message should change. Then what we will do? We learned class binding. Na? We will implement the class binding here. So we will put here so constant. So valid class. Set valid class. Okay. Is equal to use state. It is empty currently. And what should be the valid class if it is taken? Set valid class as text danger. Understood? And if it is not taken, what is the set valid class? Text success. Text success is green color. And where to apply that valid class to this data definition? Class name. It will get dynamically from which one? Valid class. Valid class. That means now when I am typing, it is showing, when I am typing, it is showing user ID available. And David user ID taken. David 1, it is available. If it is just David, then it is taken. So we can verify by using this mechanism. And here we are using which event? KeyUp. Why we should not use key press? Because we know the problem. Key press means after typing we have to press a space bar. That's not a good idea. Then what we can do that by using what? KeyUp. KeyUp. This I just used for user IDs. Suppose I want to use a password strength, weak password, strong password. So these also we do generally by using key up, key down. If I want to show warning like you entered in capital letter or not, generally for that, what is the best option? We have to use which event? We have to use key press. Key press is the event. That means, for example, we have a data term. This is password and data definition. So input type is password. And in that password, what I want is, I want to verify here whether caps is entered or not. If they accidentally enter a capital letter, I want to show a warning like caps is on. We want to just display a message. So what we will do is we will put a data definition and here we will put a span. So class BI exclamation triangle I will use, and the text warning and display a message here, warning, and caps is on. Like this I am using. Caps is on. We are just capital is on. That is just the message we are displaying there. This is password. Now what we want to do is we don't want to show this. We want to show only when capital letter is entered. We can verify whether caps lock is pressed or not. We can even verify whether the capital letter is entered or not. If capital letter is entered, caps is entered. We want to show the message. So for example, how do we verify that? How do we verify whether capital letter is entered inside this password or not? And based on that, we need to show and hide. So what we will do is, we will create another one, constant. This is toggle and set toggle. Okay. And use state, toggle is nothing but show hide. So we will d none. What is d none? Display none. We will apply this toggle here. We will apply the class. Class is which one? Toggle. And it is by default display none. Display none means it will not show. When to show it? When user enters a capital letter. And of course, here we are using one event. We will write a function, handle caps. Okay, E. We are using event argument. Here we need to use the event. What is the event? On key press. On key press. It is showing strikeout. That is just this editor. This editor is showing that because it is saying that, are you sure you want to use this? Because this may not be a right one for every situation. It is just a warning. That means it will work. Only the point is, this intention is that means it is saying that it is marked as deprecated. Marked as deprecated means in future we are going to remove this. So, but as of now it is working. In future they are going to remove this because they don't think that this is a great choice for every purpose. Because to get the code of character without key press also we can get. How we can get? You learned string function, char code at. right? Char coded, you can get the character codes without these events also. That is the reason they marked as deprecated in current version. Marked as deprecated means in future they are trying to remove this. That means they are providing some alternative to handle the same, right? As of now it is okay, it is working fine. So but what is the concept here? Handle caps, handle caps. So what we have to do, we have to verify. So the key code, how to verify the key code? We have to write a condition. If e dot key code, because key code, char code, they are not related to element, they are related to event. Event related properties we can directly access, but better key code. Instead of key code, which one you have to use? Which. If e dot which is greater than or equal to 65 and e dot which is less than or equal to 90, then what we will do? Set toggle, we will put d block. Otherwise we will put set toggle as what? D none. That means display block and display none. We will use display block and display none. That means now you see here, I am typing the password. I am typing the password, something we are typing, that looks okay. But suddenly when I type a caps letter, it shows warning. That means caps is on. I remove this and type, now it is normal. Suddenly you entered some caps, it shows a warning. And I remove this, then it is fine. Right? That is usually done when you are dealing with the key codes and character. Best one is which. Actually, we can do with key code also, but it is recommended always to use the which. So when to use key up, key down, and when to use key press. Key up, key down are used when you are dealing with the character code. So sorry, characters. Character code means we have to use key press. And they are deprecating means they are going to introduce some new thing. So in future. So still we are waiting, right? So as of now we can manage by using with key press. Okay. This is one example for that. Here I will give a simple point. So key code, char code, and which all written the actual key code. However, which is compatible with all types of keyboard layouts, all types of keyboard layouts. Shift, Control, Alt are modifier keys that return Boolean true, false. That means whether you used or not. Control, Shift, Alt return true or false. They return true or false. Right. This is one example here. This is an example. So this is like some key demo.jsx. We can add more functionalities also. I will add that and then we'll give the example. So more functionality means you see websites, they show the password strength, like weak passwords. Like how do we show such messes? Actually, we add a lot of styling also for that. These days, for example, when user is typing the password, I want to show the password strength. Is it weak? Is it strong? The password strength we need to display. Generally, we can do that by using a control called meter. In HTML, you learnt about meter element. You know meter element in HTML. In HTML, we have a meter element. This is a HTML element. This is actually meter element. This is a meter element. What meter element can do is, for example, class W25. Okay, here we will put class form control. This password also have a class form control. Okay, and you see, so class W100, this is a meter element actually. Usually meter have values like meter have min and meter have max, and suppose 100 value is suppose some 20, then it shows a meter like this. That means we can show the meter growing. That means poor password, strong password. We can, I think you learned meter, you can even have colors. That means if it is 100, then it will fill up. We can even give colors. Colors like, so low is 40 and high is some 80. That means you see it will be yellow. If low is 60 and high is 80, then it is like red. These are meter related general options. But instead of meter, actually to give good animation control and all, we also use a bootstrap progress bar. Bootstrap have a progress. HTML also have a progress. HTML progress looks like this. That is HTML progress. Bootstrap have a progress. We use bootstrap progress like this. Div class as progress, and inside this another div, and this class is having progress bar. Progress bar, progress bar, progress bar, stripped. Progress bar and progress bar stripped, and progress bar animated. Stripped animated. Progress bar, what is it? Stripped, yeah. Progress bar stripped and animated is the progress bar actually. So, but these we will dynamically add. That is the better way. Progress bar stripped. Dynamically adding means what? We will keep a binding expression backtick. Backtick I will give. That is the backtick, and we are adding this progress bar stripped like this. This is the progress bar stripped, and we have a option backtick. Backtick means we can put a dynamic value here. That means we can add some dynamic value here. We can add the dynamic value. Later we will add the value. And you know how the progress bar is controlled? Actually, this progress bar is controlled by using width. So usually what happens is, suppose I am adding a style. Style is having width. Width is suppose 50%. 50% is the width. Then it will show like this. We can apply colors. Green, black, green, red. We have contextual colors. We can apply the colors. It is progress bar animated and progress bar stripped. And remember that depends on the width, how much width you are giving. So I need to control the style dynamically. I need to control the color also dynamically, depending on what they are typing as a password. So I will write another event here. Now what is the event? So we will write another event here. We will define another event. So what is the function? We have a function handle. What is it? Password. Handle password. That is the option E. We will get the event arguments. When to execute this? When you are using this, I will put a option on key up. I am using on key up. On key up, we are verifying that and we are displaying up. 1 second. 1 second, I will be back. Okay, so let's see here. Now on key up, we need to verify three basic things. On key up, what we need to do? We have to use handle what? Password. We are using handle password. And on handle password, we have to verify some pattern for password. So that means we are writing a condition. If E dot target dot value is a string, dot match is a regular expression validator. How to write a regular expression? Double slash. And what is already I showed you how to write regular expression. Suppose I am writing question mark equal dot star square a hyphen z slash w 4 comma 15. This is nothing but, so the password must be 4 to 15 characters with at least one uppercase letter. That is the pattern we are writing. Password must be 4 to 15 with at least one uppercase letter. Okay. If it is matching, then it is a strong password. Otherwise, it is a weak or poor password. That means what we will do is we will design two more things now. We need two more. Constant. One is style, width we need to set. That means PWD, this is like style. I will use a style object and we will have set style object and is equal to use state. It is an object with width. Width is initially unknown. We are not giving any width. And where to apply this style object? Style object should be applied to this width. Here we have to apply the style object. Style object contains width. Width is currently not known. And one more we need, that is the style object with constant progress color and set progress color. Okay, it is also use state. Progress color is currently empty. Progress color we will decide. So if it is matching, what does it means? It is matching with the pattern you return means it is a strong password. Strong password means set style object. The width must be how much? 100%. Width must be 100%. What should be the color? Progress color. Set progress color. Progress color we should have text success. Text success. We are defining that. Else what should happen? If it is not matching, we will write another condition. If E dot target dot value dot length is less than 4. Less than 4 means it is not even matching minimum requirement because it should start with minimum 4, maximum 15. If it is not matching with minimum requirement, set style object. We will keep width. Width how much? suppose 20% width, and set progress color as not text, actually it is BG. BG is background. We will keep as BG. BG what? Danger. BG danger means it is red because it is not matching even minimum requirement. So else what we have to do? Else set style object. Set style object how much? Width. Width is how much? That means it is not a strong password, not a poor password. Means it is a weak password. Then I will give as 70%. Width as 70%. Set progress color. We will keep as BG warning. I will use warning color here. That means now what happens when you are typing the password? When you are typing the password, it says this one. And color we are not applying. Color where to apply? Progress color we have to apply here. Here we need to bind the progress color also. That means binding expression. What is it? Progress color. Progress color we are applying. That means now when I type here, when I am typing the password, that means it will show this red mark. And we are typing minimum 4 characters, it is matching, then it is weak. And still it is a weak password because there is no uppercase letter. Now one uppercase letter I am adding. Now warning also will come. One uppercase letter we are typing, it is strong, but warning is there, saying that caps is on. It's not an error, it is just a warning that caps is on. If you remove that, then it is showing this weak. That means weak. Remove this, that means it is weak. And remove this, it is poor. We can even put a message, poor password, weak password, strong password, based on what they are typing. That means actually what is speciality of this progress bar in general Bootstrap is, Bootstrap progress bar allows text inside it. It will allow text inside it. That means we want to set a message, then we will put a constant MSG. Set MSG is equal to use state. Message is what? Empty. That means now we have to put the message here. We have to put the MSG here. And how you decide the message? Based on this logic. If it is success, then what is set MSG? Set MSG will be strong. And if it is danger, then set MSG. It is what? Poor. And it is weak, then what is it? Set MSG. Set MSG is what? Weak. That means it is weak or poor or strong. We can display like this. That means now you click and you start typing here. It says poor. And we are typing minimum 4 characters. It is weak. And once an uppercase letter comes, then it is strong. That means we can even put a message. We can display the status. Status we can show in so many ways. Actually, HTML have a meter element. It can also show in the same. We have a progress element. Progress is a little bit animated, but more better is this because meter and progress don't allow any text inside. But this Bootstrap allows text inside, little better in performance, animations. We will use these things. These are all related to key events. How do we manage the key events? So these are very mandatory actually. Regularly, when you are designing a form, you know that there is no form in the world which is not verifying any patterns. User ID pattern, password patterns, validations are mostly controlled by using what? Key events. That means we will not wait until they click the register button. We will verify immediately while typing. While typing itself, we will verify, and that you can achieve by using this technique. This entire example I am giving, key demo. Right? This is related to the category of keyboard events. Keyboard events. Next, important, the events. You know, some of the events you already know. We have button events. We have button events. What are the button events we are having? Usually button events we have like button events are nothing but button events are like we have on click, that is an event. Already we know that. So button event is like on click. So we have on double click. I think I already told you on double click. Actually in JavaScript it is DBL click. Here we have to completely write double click. On context menu. On context menu. On click, on double click, on context menu. On click indicates the actions to perform when user click. Double click means to. Context menu means right click. When user right clicks, what are the actions to perform? We can define certain actions to perform on right click. So generally we use these events. On click, no need to explain, already we know, because in many occasions we use on click. Double click is also actually, double click is nothing but, suppose I will copy this users JSON also. This is the file you need. This is users.json. That is the file where we have the data related to this. And actually double click and all, suppose let's say here we have button demo. Okay, we are having button demo dot what JSX. So export function and button demo and return. It is just having one simple option, container fluid. We will just keep an image. Image source is coming from, suppose we have like iPhone black .jpg. I think we have this image. So width is suppose 100, height as some 150. Now we will keep this button demo. So we are having a button demo. That is the button demo, and this is the image we are having. Now what we want here is just I am keeping a logic like height also 100. Okay, put a paragraph. Just we are saying double click to view large. That is the option we are giving. Double click to view large. And when I double click, it should open the full image. And where you open that you can decide. So you can open in a separate window, or you can open in a separate tab, right? That means that depends. You can use a bootstrap pop-up like a model. Generally, they open on single clicks. Then we can use a double click. On double click, we can open. So that means, for example, usually how do you write double click functionality for this? So handle function, handle double click. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to on image, on double click, handle double click. And what we need to do is window dot open, because window have a pop-up. It should open, what is it? iPhone black dot JPG. And what is the width and height for this? That means title is iPhone, and it is having some width and height. Width is some 300 and the height is some 400. We are opening the width and height here. This is nothing but we are using double click. That means when anybody double clicks on it, it should open in a separate window. That is a pop-up. And this is actual window. That means the actual DOM window, because window belongs to actual DOM. And we are doing this. You can use any bootstrap pop-up Bootstrap pop-up, like we have models. We can use models, alerts. That means here when I double click, it depends how much width and height you given. Suppose height is suppose 500, width is some 400. And you see when user double clicks on this, when user double clicks, it will open in full screen. That means it can open that in a full screen. This is usually double click. Right click means context menu. Context menu means right click. In many interviews also they ask this question, how to disable right click in browser. That's a very common requirement these days. That means we have some sensitive data. We don't want banking applications and all these people, they don't allow right click. That means right click means context menu. Context menu, when user right clicks, I don't want to allow to right click. Then how do you disable right click? Actually, these are not related to virtual DOM because virtual DOM is not having a right click. Actual DOM is having a right click, right? That means anywhere user right clicks in the actual DOM, you have to disable it. How to disable it? So here we are writing on context menu. So handle context. Okay. We will write a function here. Function handle context. And what it has to do is it should show an alert saying that right click not allowed. Not allowed in this page. In this page. We are giving that message. But observe carefully, right click is not allowed in that page. So when I right click here, it says right click not allowed in the page, but right click is working. It opens the right click. It is because you learned in general JavaScript, if you want to disable any event, what we have to do is we have to access the actual DOM event because right click doesn't belong to virtual DOM. It belongs to actual DOM. So what we will do is document dot on context menu. This is accessing actual DOM event. It is a function. That function should return false. Return false. If any DOM function is returning false, you are disabling that function. That means you can disable any DOM function by making return false. By making return false. That means if you make the function to return false, this functionality will be blocked. It will not work. That means now see what I am doing here. I refresh this. Okay. I right click. When I right click, it says right click not allowed. Okay. It's not working. Now it is not opening right click here. It is not opening the right click. That means you just right click, then it says right click not allowed. And when I say okay, that's there. That means now right click is not allowed. Right click is not opening. If I don't write this, it will show the alert. It will show the alert, but it will show right click. We don't want that to happen. Then we have to disable. Any event, if you want to disable in the browser, it should return what? False. It return false, then it will stop that event. It will not allow that event to perform. And actually these right clicks pop-ups are not related to virtual DOM. They are actually actual DOM. Then to disable actual DOM, we have to access the actual DOM event. And that actual DOM event should return false. If it is JavaScript, directly you can write like this. You don't need to write an synthetic event using actual event. You don't need that. If it is in JavaScript, directly you can write document on context menu. You can directly write that. Actually in JavaScript, what you can do is, if it is in JavaScript, directly in the body, this is body section, we can write on what? Context menu. You can just return false. That's very simple actually in JavaScript. In JavaScript, you can directly write like this. That means on context menu, return false. You don't need to even write a function. Directly make that return false. It will not allow. These are related to buttons, button related events, right? So on click, this is usually single click. This is left button. And double click, this is double click. This is left button. and context menu, right click. So this is left button. This is right button. That is context menu. And here one basic note is you can disable any DOM event by using a function that returns false. By using a function that returns false. That returns false. So these are button events. So let's see one example here. This is example. I will copy that example here. This is button demo.jsx. So in this, I'm not giving click because already we know the click option. We are using double click and how to manage. This is how we have to use these events. Now, next important, we have another category, and this is another major category, timer events. Timer events that we will see in next session, right? Tomorrow we will discuss about timer. These are major things. Actually, many questions in interviews comes on timer also. Timer is nothing but you have seen carousels and all. Banners will be automatically changing every few seconds. Some actions are performed every few seconds. Here you will learn some new concepts in React. So how to use these timer events and how to control them. That we'll see tomorrow. Okay, right.
This meeting is being recorded.